Have you ever found yourself in the middle of the day feeling like your mind is at full volume? Your mind is like a runaway time machine, constantly jumping between the past you can't change and the future that hasn't happened yet. The result? You're never where it truly matters, here and now. It's as if you're on a high-speed train but forgot to board. What if we told you there's a way to get off that train for just 5 minutes? Imagine a storm raging only inside your head, thoughts crashing into each other, obligations piling up endlessly, and you standing still, trying to appear functional. Now, take a deep breath. Really, take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a second if you can. Inhale slowly, hold, release. There. You've just taken the first step towards something that might change your day. In fact, if this start brought you any relief, watch this video to the end. I've prepared something special for you. The good news is, by liking and commenting below, YouTube will understand that this type of content is beneficial for you and will show you more videos like this. It could be the start of a new journey. There's a place inside you where the noise of the world doesn't reach. You have an internal Wi-Fi, but you almost never connect to it. Inside you, there's a silent signal, always available, always high speed, your presence. But we often try to connect to the external world, forgetting that the strongest signal comes from within. The irony? It only works when you disconnect from everything else. And this is where the technique nobody told you about comes in, where mental chaos loses its power. And the beauty of it? This place is always accessible. You just need to learn how to enter. But the truth is, nobody teaches us how to stop. We grow up believing that the more we do, the better we are, that those who stop lose, that rest is a luxury, that listening to your body is weakness, and that silence is a waste of time. And there lies the problem. On the outside, life rushes by. On the inside, the soul screams, but in silence. And almost nobody hears it until one day. You hear it. Sometimes it's in the middle of an anxiety attack. Sometimes it's a breakdown in the office bathroom. Sometimes it's just that sudden, unexplained emptiness. That's when you start searching for an exit, an answer, some relief. And that's where this 5-minute technique comes in. 5 minutes. It might seem like nothing. It might even seem ridiculous. But listen, in this short time, everything can change. Imagine your mind as a lake. When you constantly stir the water with worries, stimuli, social media, demands, you can't see the bottom. Only when the water calms does the bottom become visible. The practice I'm going to show you is just that, the act of calming the water. And there's no mysticism involved. It's science, it's mindfulness, it's applied psychology, it's living philosophy. As the Stoics said, the soul remains at peace when it does not let itself be carried away by external storms. And as Buddha taught, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. But have you ever stopped to listen to what you think every day? Now imagine this. You're in your car, waiting for the traffic light to change, or you're holding your coffee before the next meeting, or washing dishes after a long day. These are the moments when magic can happen. You close your eyes for an instant. Feel the air coming in. Feel it going out. Hear the sounds around you, but don't react. Just observe. Observe your thoughts. Let them come, but don't cling to any. You don't need to fight with your mind. You just need to be present. This practice is called mindfulness. But don't be intimidated by the name. In practice, it's attention, it's presence, it's remembering that you are alive now. Because many people breathe without truly living. Many people wake up. But don't awaken. And the reason we're making this video is simple. You deserve clarity. You deserve peace. You deserve to remember who you are without having to escape. Over the next few minutes, I'll guide you through this simple yet transformative technique. I'll show you why it works, how it affects the brain, how it can be applied by anyone in any context, and most importantly, how it can give you back what you might not have realized you'd lost, yourself. But before we continue, think with me. When was the last time you spent 5 whole minutes just with yourself? No distractions, no phone, no trying to solve anything. Just being? If that seems difficult or strange, great. It's a sign that this might be exactly what you need. And I know it might seem challenging. The mind wants to escape. It wants to stay busy. But true emotional strength isn't about controlling everything. It's about observing, without getting lost in what you observe. As Viktor Frankl, one of the great names in positive psychology, said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This technique is about that space. These 5 minutes are that space, the interval where you stop reacting automatically and start living consciously. And now I invite you, stay with me until the end of this video. Because it's not just a practice you'll learn, it's a new way to inhabit your mind, to deal with the world without being consumed by it. And if at any moment you feel touched by what you hear here, comment, share your experience. Tell us in the comments what's stopping you today from finding 5 minutes of silence. This isn't just a video, it's a reminder that your calm isn't out there, it's within you. And you don't need to chase after it, just remember how to reach it. Now, let's do this together. 5 minutes. That's all, but it might be everything you need. Can I continue? Have you ever noticed that deep down, all human searching is a quest for peace? Whether it's a new job, a relationship, a degree, or a trip, what we're almost always seeking is an inner state of tranquility, a respite from the struggle, a place of belonging within ourselves. The problem is that most of us look for this peace where it doesn't reside. In the future, in others, in success, in recognition. And we ignore the fact that, for centuries, some traditions have pointed to a simpler and more challenging path, returning to oneself. The mindfulness you're learning here isn't new. It's just a modern name for ancient wisdom. And today, I want to show you how this 5-minute technique is actually a bridge between 4 paths that have taught millions to find peace amid chaos. Let's start with the Stoics. Stoicism. Peace isn't the absence of problems, it's the presence of inner strength. The Stoics didn't seek to control the world, they sought to control themselves. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you pause for 5 minutes and observe your thoughts without reacting, you're practicing exactly that, separating fact from interpretation. Realizing that between what happens and what you feel, there's you, with the power to choose how to respond. Imagine receiving criticism at work. The automatic reaction is to defend yourself, blame yourself, or drown in anxiety. But if you apply what you've learned, you breathe, feel the emotion coming, and don't identify with it. You listen, reflect, and respond with clarity. That's living like a Stoic in the 21st century. What irritates, consumes, or weakens you today? Is it really outside of you, or is it in how you interpret what happens? Buddhism. The mind is a mirror. Clean, it reflects the truth. For Buddhists, suffering arises from identifying with thoughts. Buddha said the mind is like a drunken monkey, jumping from branch to branch without stopping, and the antidote is observation. Mindfulness here is called sati, a lucid and loving attention to the present moment. And when you breathe and simply observe without judgment, you're cleaning the mirror of the mind. The dirt, fears, comparisons, guilt settles. And what remains is clarity, lucidity. You're in a heated discussion with someone close. Normally, you'd get lost in emotions, but this time, you step back mentally. Breathe, observe, and realize that anger came, but it isn't you. And with that, you avoid a bigger conflict. You choose peace without denying the truth. That's the living practice of Dharma. What thoughts have you been believing without questioning? What would happen if you simply observed them without reacting? Taoism. Water conquers by yielding, not by force. In the Tao Te Ching, the classic text of Taoism, Lao Tzu says, "Water is soft, yet it can penetrate rock." Why? Because it follows its course without resistance. The mindfulness approach fits perfectly here. It's not about fighting the mind, but allowing it to settle, observing, flowing, becoming aware of life's rhythm without imposing rigidity. This is Wu Wei, acting without forced effort. You had a plan for the day, but everything went differently. Instead of getting frustrated, you apply the technique. Breathe, accept, adapt. Discover paths you wouldn't have seen if you were stuck on control. Like water, you flow around the obstacle and continue. That's Taoist wisdom. In which areas of your life are you forcing something that actually needs to be let go? Where could you flow instead of resisting? Positive psychology. Focus on what works. The present is the point of power. Positive psychology teaches us that well-being isn't the absence of suffering, but the ability to deal with it using strengthened inner resources. Mindfulness is one of those tools, proven to reduce stress, increase focus, and improve emotional quality. Martin Seligman, one of the founders of this approach, shows that mindfulness increases optimism, a sense of control, and a feeling of purpose. Instead of dwelling on the past or anticipating catastrophes, you anchor your mind in the present. And in the present, almost everything is usually okay. You wake up anxious, already thinking about the day's 10 tasks. But you remember the practice. Sit for 5 minutes. Breathe. Realize that in that moment, all that exists is the air coming in and out. And that's enough. You start the day with presence, with choice, with power. And if, instead of reacting automatically, you began your days with this inner space activated, what would change in your mood, decisions, and relationships? In 5 minutes, you connect with centuries of wisdom. You breathe with the Stoics. You observe with Buddha. You flow with the Tao. You flourish with positive psychology. And most importantly, you live consciously. These traditions aren't dogmas. They're maps, tools, invitations. They remind you that the peace you seek isn't in having a perfect life, but in learning to inhabit each moment with presence and truth. Try this practice today. Just 5 minutes. Choose a moment, any moment, and be fully there. Then come back and share. What did you notice? 5 minutes. That's all it takes to interrupt autopilot, silence the inner noise, and regain control of your mind. But how? Here's the step-by-step guide to this practice that can transform your day and, over time, your way of living. 1. Choose a moment and place. You don't need incense, a special cushion, or a scenic view. You just need a safe space where you can pause for 5 minutes. It could be your parked car, the office bathroom, the balcony, the sofa, a park bench, or the living room floor. The important thing isn't the external place. It's your internal gesture of decision. The practice begins when you tell yourself, "Now I will stop. Now I return to myself." You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Jon Kabat-Zinn. You don't need to empty your mind. That's the biggest myth about meditation. Your mind isn't meant to stop. It's like the heart. Its job is to function. The practice isn't about forcing silence. It's about befriending the noise. The key is simple. Don't fight the thoughts. Sit with them. Have a cup of tea. Because when you stop fighting, the mind stops screaming. 2. Sit with presence, or stand if that's better. You don't need to cross your legs or make mudras. Just be comfortable and alert. Keep your spine straight without rigidity, shoulders relaxed, and feet on the ground. The idea here is for your body to signal to your brain, we are present, not in flight mode. Close your eyes if you can, or choose a fixed point to gaze at softly. And start noticing, what are you feeling right now? Without judging, without trying to change anything, just noticing. 3. Connect with your breath. Now bring your attention to the air coming in and going out without controlling it. Just feel it. Observe how the air touches your nostrils, how your chest expands, how your abdomen rises and falls. You can even place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly if that helps you stay grounded. If thoughts arise, and they will, simply acknowledge them. Thought. And return to the breath. Like clouds in the sky, thoughts come and go. You are not them. Imagine your attention as a flashlight in a dark room. You decide where it focuses. Each time you return to the breath, you're saying, "This is where I want to be now." 4. Expand your awareness to your body. After a few breath cycles, bring your attention to your body as a whole. Feel your feet touching the ground, the weight of your legs, the support of your back, the temperature of your skin. Notice any tension, pain, or sensation without trying to change it. This is what Buddhism calls vipassana, seeing clearly what is. You might even say to yourself, "I am here, in this body, in this moment." And that's enough. 5. End with gratitude and intention. In the final moments, bring to mind something simple you're grateful for. It could be the air, the act of pausing, the warmth of the sun, breakfast, or someone you love. Then, if you wish, set an intention for the rest of the day. Something like, "Today I choose to respond with calm. Today I return to myself whenever I can. Today I allow silence to guide me." Open your eyes slowly. Feel your body. Feel your surroundings. You've returned, but from a deeper place, lighter, more present. You know how important it is to share what you feel, as it might be just what someone else needs to read today. So if this practice resonated with you, a feeling, a memory, a word, comment below. By doing so, you'll not only contribute to those in need, but also signal to YouTube that this video is meaningful to you. And it will continue to guide you in this direction. Summary of the practice. Pause. Choose a moment and tell yourself it's time to come home. Sit with presence, back straight, eyes closed or softly focused. Observe the breath without controlling, just feel the air and return whenever you get lost. Feel the body. It's your anchor, your temple, your compass. Thank us and intend. End with something good, something light, something true. Today, take 5 minutes to apply this step-by-step guide. Preferably, write down afterward on paper or your phone. How was your mind before? What did you notice during? What changed afterward? If you want, share this in the comments. Here, we're all learning to listen to ourselves. What's stopping you from pausing for 5 minutes today? If you could do this practice for 7 days straight, what do you think would change in your life? In the coming days, I'll guide you through other quick yet profound practices for reconnecting with the present moment. Ancient techniques with scientific backing, tools to help you live with more clarity, lightness, and truth. If this first practice resonated with you, even a little, subscribe to the channel. The journey began with 5 minutes. But it can go much, much further. Now that you know the technique, tell me honestly, can you imagine the impact 5 daily minutes of presence could have on your life in a week and in a month? And if it were a year, it might seem exaggerated, but it's not. You don't have to believe me, just try it. And here's my invitation. Try it for 7 days, not 7 hours, not 7 sessions with a guru. Just this. 5 minutes a day, 7 days with yourself. I call this the ritual of return because at its core, it's not about meditating. It's about returning within, returning to the body, returning to presence, returning to what you forgot in the rush, yourself. Challenge, the ritual of return. 5-7. For the next 7 days, you will set aside 5 minutes each day to practice the technique. Write down one word that sums up how you felt after each practice. And if you wish, share your discovery in the comments. Maybe on day 1 you write restless, on day 3 light, on day 6 silence, and who knows, on day 7 returned. There's no right or wrong, there's only what is, and everything that is welcome. Your mind is like a stirred aquarium. When everything is murky, the impulse is to stir more, but that only spreads the sand. The solution: stop, observe, wait. Clarity comes not from agitation, but from stillness. In that moment of pause, the bottom becomes visible. And perhaps the bottom of your mind hides treasures you never imagined. Tell me in the comments, what was the most present sensation during your practice today? Like the video if, at any moment, this technique brought you a moment of relief, even a slight one. Share it with someone who always says, "I don't have time for myself," because maybe these 5 minutes are exactly what that person needs. Now that you've taken the first step, you might be wondering, and then? How do you carry this calm into the rest of your day? How do you maintain presence amid the real chaos, kids, work, news, phone, traffic? In the next videos, I'll show you how to apply this same mindfulness base in unexpected moments, in the middle of an anxiety attack, before an important decision, during a difficult conversation, and even while washing dishes. Yes, because mindfulness isn't an isolated practice, it's a way of being in the world. So here's a heads up. The next video in the series will teach you to use this same technique in motion while walking, cooking, working. Because it's not enough to find peace in silence. You need to learn to bring that peace into the noise as well. When was the last time you felt peace without having to escape from everything? And what if, instead of chasing 1,000 solutions, you paused for 5 minutes and realized that what you're looking for is already there? What if you could be your own safe harbor without depending on anyone? Imagine your mind as a stirred aquarium. The water is murky, the fish are swimming in circles, the sand is rising. You try to see clearly, but you can't. Then you stop. You don't interfere. You just observe. The water calms, the sand settles, the fish float gently, and the bottom becomes clear. That's the power of silence. That's the power of pause. That's the power of you. If this practice made sense to you, give me a sign. Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey together. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Leave a sincere comment, even if it's just one word: returned. Because in this space, each of us is learning to return. And every time you return, you inspire someone else to do the same. You've made it this far, and that says a lot. It means there's a search within you, perhaps still nameless, but full of strength. A desire to live with more truth, more presence, more of you. And look, that's rare. Because in a world that screams for speed, you chose to stop. In the midst of urgency, you found silence. In the midst of noise, you listened to something much subtler, your own existence. And that in itself is the beginning of a revolution. Being present in a world of absence. We live in a culture that trains us to be everywhere except here, always thinking about what's next, what was missing yesterday, what might go wrong tomorrow. We're surrounded by goals, tasks, lists, expectations, and little by little, we drift away from ourselves without even noticing. But you've just discovered, or perhaps remembered, that there's a pause point, a sacred space between one thought and another, an inner home where you can rest, even as the world crumbles outside. This place isn't a reward. It's not a privilege reserved for a few. It's your right. It's your origin. And the name of this is presence, the simplest truth. The technique you learned today has no secret. It doesn't require religion, doctrine, or a spiritual master. It only asks for courage. Courage to stop, to listen to the silence, to see the inner chaos without running away. And that is for the few, Because it's not easy to look within without distraction, but it's transformative. I'm not talking here about a place of perfection. I too have lost my ground. I've found myself in the middle of the day, completely disconnected from myself. Doing, without knowing why anymore. And it was in those moments that pausing for 5 minutes saved my day. Sometimes it saved myself. It was in those brief silences that I found the answers that the rush always hid. And that's why I'm here, recording this video. Because if it worked for me, it might work for you too. The mind will try to convince you that 5 minutes won't make a difference, that it's not worth it, that there are more important things to do. But remember, even a derailed train can get back on track if it stops in time. Sometimes all we need is this tiny, grandiose time. This micro breath that, like a drop, changes the entire course of the river. If this video planted a seed within you, let it grow. Cultivate this space. Protect this silence. Return to it whenever you can. And if you want to continue this journey with me here on the channel, we'll explore together other paths of reconnection, balance, and inner truth. Simple, applicable, transformative techniques, based on the wisdom of those who came before and the courage of those trying now, like me, like you. So if you want to walk together, you know what to do. Subscribe, turn on notifications, come back here. This channel isn't about performance, it's about presence. And as Lao Tzu said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Perhaps, in your case, it began with a breath. Final silence. Breathe one more time. Feel. You're still here, whole, present, and that's enough. Sometimes stopping is the most revolutionary move. In a world where everyone is running, those who stop seem to be losing. But in reality, they see what others don't. Like an observer in slow motion in an accelerated world, you access details invisible to others, emotions forgotten, truths revealed only in silence. Pausing takes you out of autopilot and gives you back the helm. What would happen if instead of reacting, you chose just to be? And what if what you're looking for has been there all along, just waiting for you to stop searching? Tell me in the comments, when was the last time you allowed yourself 5 minutes of total silence? In which moments of your day do you feel your mind is most chaotic? And how does that affect you? What's stopping you from finding 5 minutes of silence in your daily life? And now that you've made it this far, leave a sign. Like the video, comment with a word that represents this moment, clarity, presence, return, whatever is true for you. This way, besides inspiring others, you show YouTube what kind of videos make sense to you. And I'll be here to continue this journey with you. If you like this video, share it with your friends or those you think will benefit from this content. And write in the comments about how this technique resonated with you. To deepen your mindfulness practice even further, check out our exclusive ebook available in the description and the first pinned comment. There you'll find additional exercises and tips. And don't forget to check out the other videos on the screen. Choose one and click on it to continue your journey of self-discovery and well-being.